said. So the act of entering the data you have gotten from people is what we call data entry. And the last but not the least here is data preparation. And data preparation is the process of preparing raw data so that it is suitable for further processing and analysis. Now, after we have gotten our data, now all the data we might have gotten are they are just raw data. So for it to be meaningful and to serve our purpose of usefulness, so we need to prepare it and do some cleaning about it so as to serve what we want to use it for. So then after that, I'll now move to variable definitions. Are you together, please? Hello, guys.
Yes, we are together. Yeah, you
Okay.
can go.
So now on SPSS, if you want to use, can you see the screen, please? Hello.
Yes, we
Yes,
can see
yes, you
the
Can you
can
see the
see
screen?
it.
screen. We can.
Okay, okay. So
Yes.
we have variable definitions in SPSS. I believe every one of us have installed SPSS. Now this is SPSS variable field. Now in SPSS we have variable field and the data field. So you can see the data field here, you can see the variable field here. Now you see my cursor here. I have name, I have type, I have width, I have decimal, label, values, missing, column, align, measure and role. Now for the name is what you want to use to denote your value, the data you have at hand, what you want to use to denote it. Now let's say for example I have age of specific students. Now I can say here I have age. Now in the column of name there are some certain rules that follow before you can use it. Now if you want to input anything in name here, you cannot use space. What I mean by you cannot use space is after I might have written age like this and have leave space and write another thing, so it won't accept it. Can you see what I have here? Variable name contain an illegal character, so you can only use age, you can only use word. And if you want to input anything in your variable name, you cannot start with number, you only start with alphabet. You start with alphabet and you cannot use name. So if you check my definitions here for name, so I say name, check the column here, I say should not exceed 64 characters. What I mean by should not exceed 64 characters is that in the column of name, everything you want to write there should not exceed 64 characters. Like the maximum of characters that it can contain is 64. Then another thing is we start with a letter, then no symbol or spaces is allowed. No symbol or spaces is allowed. Then the next one we have after the name is type. Now this type by default it will appear to be numeric. By default the type is always numeric. So after you might have inputted everything you want, after you have inputted your data, so the next thing for the type is numeric. So if you check, we have different types of data type you can use. Now if you check here, we have numeric, we have comma, we have dot and some other ones like that. But by default you use numeric because most of the time what you want to code, the data you want to use are numerical data, so that's the reason why it is numeric by default. Then the next one after the type, you have width. So by default as well, the width of the column will be 8. It will be 8. You can actually increase it or decrease it, but by default it will be 8. So you can just leave it by that, leave the default by that. Then after that one, the next thing we have here is decimal. Now after you might have inputted your data, no, if you leave it at by default it will appear to be 2 decimal places. Now if you leave it in 2 decimal places, it might be so confusing when you are analyzing your data. So the best thing is just to reduce the decimal to 0. So leave the decimal to be 0. Then so if you check my what I have here, I say 2 is the default option. So after the decimals we have labels. So for the labels part, Now, yeah, the usefulness of label is that if you can remember, I said in the column of name, you cannot input space or anything. Now, let's think of it if you want to code another data, like probably the name of schools. Now, you can say name of school, you can just use like ns to code it. But in this value column, you can just write everything completely. Name of. So if you check here, you can use space, you can use number, you can use anything in this label. So the usefulness of label is to give brief description about the name, like what you have written in the name column. The usefulness of label is to give brief description about it, to let people know more about what we have at hand. Then after that we have value. Now this value is useful in the case of when we have categorical variable that we want, probably when we have categorical variable that we want to convert to numerical variable. Now you can check if you have for the values, you have for naming categories of a nominal variable. That's one. Then second one, okay, this is just now to use that one. Join the meeting. Now if you go to your value now, let's say I want to code male and female. As we all know, male and female, they are categorical variable, like they are not nominal. So for us to change it to nominal from categories, you can just make use of these values. Now let's say here I have one. Now I can say male. Now I have two. Then I can say female. So this with this,
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Well done, sir.
eh?
We cannot see what you are doing on SPSS, sir.
Okay, you can't see my screen.
We can't see. Oh, it's only the PowerPoint we can see. We can't see the SPSS.
Okay, sorry, I'm coming. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see
Hello.
it, sir.
Okay. So I said
Yes,
for the
yes, you can see.
okay. I said for the name when I was talking about the name column, I said for the name, in the column of name you can't use space and you can't use numeric. Only one thing you can use is alphabet. Let's say here you have 8. And I said the type for the type here by
Sorry,
default
sir.
is
Hello,
always
sir.
numeric. So just leave it as numeric like that. Then
All
we
right,
move to
sir.
this,
Can you
and I
hear me?
say by default as well. Hello.
Yes. It's
Okay.
so tiny at my screen here. Is it possible to
So
zoom that
tiny.
part? Yes.
I'm coming. Give me some minutes, please.
Sorry to disturb you, sir.
No problem. So hello.
Yes, I'm with you,
So
sir.
okay. So after that width, so we go to decimal, and I say by default the decimal will appear as 2.
So
So
yeah,
for you not to be get confused when you are analyzing your data, just make the decimal to be 0 instead of 2, which is by default. So just make it to be 0. So then after the decimal, I now move to label aspect. Are you together, please? So we will find solution to the SPSS so that you can see very clearly. So for the label part, now the label, what you use the label for is just to give brief description about your age. I said in your name column you can't use space, you can't use number, you can't use anything. But in your label you can use space, you can use number, you can use anything. just to give brief description about your name. Let's say for an example now, you want to write name of schools, and you know in the name column you can't write name of school because of the space. Please try to zoom the SPSS from your on your system like that. I believe we all have the SPSS installed on our system. Try to zoom your screen.
It's when I zoom, it goes smaller, sir.
What do you say?
Other part of the screen will be getting bigger, but the interface you are showing us right now will go smaller. I've tried zooming and everything.
Okay. We will find solution to it, please. Let's just continue. So probably it's time we get solution to that one. So just be following me, please, and try to install the SPSS on your system as well. So try to be following me. So, and I said for the label aspect, now if you check the definition for the label here, it's just to used to provide a longer description of your variable. Because used to provide, this will be used in the output window, which means if you analyze your data, the output of your analysis, what it will bring as the label will be what you have written in your label column. Is what you have at the headings of your analysis output. Now here if you check here, and I said this label here is just to use for the brief description of your name. Like what you have written in your name, the label is just used for the brief description of it. Then after that I move to the value column. Now and I said the values is used in situation where we have categorical variable and we want to convert it to numerical variables. Now let's say we have a questionnaire at hand, and the questionnaire, when you are filling the demography part, we have male, we have female, we have male, we have female. No, in such a case, the male will fill their own part, the female will fill their own part. And in a situation like that, you can't code male and female directly like that. So you have to convert that categorical variable into numerical variable. So probably by assigning 1 to our male and assigning 2 for our female. So when you go to value, you just click on the drop down in your value column. Then at the column in front of the value, you make use of the number. You write the number you want to use to represent your categorical variable. Let's say I want to use 1 for male. In the box in front of the value, I will write 1. Then at the label, I will now write the male I want to use. So when you write male in front of label, then you click add. So let's say you want to code the female as well. You write 2 in the front of value. Then at the label column, you write female. Then you click add. So then you click OK. So when you have another, let's say in the situation where you have categorical variable that are more than this. So you have categorical variable that are more than this. So that's why you code it to get to the end of the data you have. Then for the missing value, they are just there. You can just leave the missing value. So when you are doing your analysis, all the missing value will be taken care of. Then after that one, we have column. Column here, by default, it will appear to be 8. So just leave it as 8 like that. Don't increase it and don't reduce it. Just leave it to be 8 like that. Then the next one that is mostly important after that one is your measure. So for the measure, if you check here, we have scale, we have ordinal, and we have nominal. Now what is the nominal data? When we are talking about nominal data is quantitative data that groups variable into categories that do not overlap. Nominal data, when we are talking about nominal data, it's just a number, like the data that are number. That's the nominal data in short. Then we have ordinal data. Ordinal data is a situation where we have data that are in orders. Let's say 100 level students, 200 level students, 300 level students. They are categorized, they are in orders. Then we have scale. Now this scale is combination of interval and ratio. Actually, when you are talking about normal SPSS, as a layman, we discuss about interval differently, discuss about ratio differently. But when it comes to SPSS like this, so ratio and interval are combined together to make a scale. So the example of scale we can have is just age of a student, like in number. Then for the others, ordinate, it's just like we have 100 level students, 200 level students, 300. They are categorized. Then for the nominal, we have male to be one, female to be two, like that. So they are numbered that way. So after that one, then when you have questionnaire data, so we have different types of data. You can have questionnaire data, regression data. So when you want to input it, this is just the basic of your input. This is just the basic of the coding you want to do. So I think now we need to move to how to enter data, prepare data using Excel as well. So after the class, we leave about 10 minutes to 20 minutes for you to ask question. Please, if you have any question, just note it down as we move to the next part, which is Excel. So I will be inviting my second trainer to join the class now, so as to take you through the Excel part.
All right, thank you so much. Please, can you still hear us? Can you hear?
Yes,
Hello,
we can
please.
hear you.
Okay,
How is it?
okay. Sorry, we won't be able to continue this class because we are experiencing a lot of a bad network issue here, please. And I would like we'll continue tomorrow by God's grace. So I can hand over to our host Oluchi, so to address. So Oluchi, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Darren. Good evening, everyone. Can we all hear me?
Yes, man, I can hear you,
Hello,
man.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
I
We
want
can
to
hear you
appreciate
clear.
you for joining me at this time. I know it's not easy considering network issue and NEPA going crazy nowadays. I'm really sorry that we can't continue with the as planned data entry using Excel. So because of the glitches that we're having on our instructor side, we'll continue tomorrow. And by God's grace, I believe all issues would have been sorted out. And again, another information I would like to pass across to us is for those of us that are yet